Time flies when you're having fun, right? What about when you're trying to double your income or get monetized in 90 days on YouTube? It really flies then. I spent this whole of week 10 thinking it was week 9 and I had more time, and I actually have less. And that's okay, friends. It's been a steady trot, and I'm happy to, still be here, still smiling for the most part. And I'll use this video to tell you a little bit about my wins and what mindset tools I've used. That's what I've been doing in the series. And if you found the series helpful or you're working on a YouTube channel, leave me a comment. Tell me how it's going, or and be sure to subscribe if you want to get notified of more videos like this. And it will certainly help me reach my goal. So I've got little notes. These are a little more fly by the seat of my pants type of video, but I do like to write things down. And so I'm going to kind of remind you a little bit of the challenge. The challenge, like I said, is to get monetized, which takes 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, neither of which I'm very close to, but I'm going to keep going. And you might even find this surprising that one of my tools I use, given how far I from getting monetized. I also there is an opportunity to do a viral type video, and there were some hints and tips on how to do that in this course. And of course, I've been leaving the in the show notes the details of this course if you want to take it. It's kind of targeted for people over 40, and it's great, so highly recommend. And then the other one was to make an investment in your niche and make a video on that. So you could, in my case, I think I will probably do a comparison video of maybe different mindset tools that are out there, meditation. We'll see. Haven't nailed that one down yet, but I'm still going here. I did try a new kind of video, one that I'd seen in my niche, doing kind of well for other people that are kind of doing mindset or self-esteem or self-confidence. And so I'll share that I'll share that on the channel soon, so keep an eye out for that. So the tools and the wins are kind of wrapped up in each other. So let me just get started on those. The tools I used this week, and I'll start with I actually wrote it second, but we'll move it up front. The first tip was I realized that when I was starting and realizing where my data is right now and where I'm supposed to, had hoped to be at this end of this challenge, there's a gap. And so what I do in the morning as part of my morning practice is kind of look at the thoughts I'm having that day about both my personal life and agenda there, and then also about my YouTube channel. Now, it's not every day during the week that I do something with my YouTube channel because I do work full time, but I like to write down what my goals are for that channel, what I think I'm going to be doing that day, if I am going to do that day. And then in both cases, for both my personal and my business side, if you will, I often will write down what thoughts do I need to be thinking? What do I want to be, how do I want to be showing up for myself today, given these circumstances? So for instance, at my investor job where I am where I'm getting, that's what my coach calls it, my investor job. They're investing me. But anyway, I'm in a federally funded role, and it's been a little bit disconcerting lately. And so I am one of the leaders on the team. And so I often am asking myself, how do I want to show up for the team this week? What do I need to do to manage my mindset so that I can be there for people and be setting a good standard for our team? And so one of the things I found with these thoughts is sometimes I was having this what I thought a revelation, but man, I keep having to do this every morning. I mean, it would just really be nice to wake up sometime and just already be thinking these things, to already have where you want to be where you're at when you wake up. And it's just not often that way. If I'm realistic with you, friends, I don't often, feel wake up with that like this is going to be an awesome day. I get there usually. I can often get my thoughts there, but often my day starts off with, probably like a lot of people's, a list of shoulds, a list of things I have to do, wondering how I'm going to get all done, maybe a bit of anxiety, maybe my body's feeling a little bit charged. But that's what I do in my morning practice. I spend my time doing that. And that isn't actually the tool, but that you'll call that a bonus tool, is that morning practice where I kind of look and examine at these tools. But just to get a little bit more meta on it, I actually found myself thinking, well, what if this is something I have to do every day? It doesn't take me as long anymore. When I reflected on how I've had this practice for years now, I can get into a pretty good space pretty quickly. But I do like that reset every day. It is important to me, and I find when I don't get it that I do feel just a little bit off. So the thought I tried was, what if this is just how I'm going to feel about this channel for a while, about this challenge for a while? Maybe I'm going to feel a little inadequate at first, or that I'm missing the mark, or that I should know how to do this better, or I'll never get there. Could I be okay with that? Could I start at that point knowing that I have the tools to, get myself out of a loop and show up here in front of the camera and not expect it to be different? Because that's that piece where I'm like, "Oh, if I could once I get really good at this thought work stuff, I'll never have to do this practice again." It just hasn't worked out to be true. I will say it's definitely gotten easier, and there's some thoughts that I can notice and, clip right away. But I will say it's still something I work on, and maybe that's just how it'll always be, and that's okay. That kind of allowing and knowing that I'm going to be able to manage my mindset out there, that actually helped put a bit of ease around all this for me this week. So that was really the first official tool I used. And the second one, and this is the one I referred to that might sound a little crazy since I am nowhere near monetized. I think the last time I checked, I had, let's see, 11 subscribers, and thank you, all 11 of you. And if you haven't subscribed and you're tempted, this would be a great time. And I've had about 50 watch hours, which is great. This means that people are watching the videos. That's 50 hours more than I had 6 weeks ago. Well, actually, what did I say? 10 weeks ago. So I'm very excited and proud of that. And I don't want to in any way diminish that accomplishment. So, one thing I sometimes try if I feel like I'm in a pattern or I want to kind of shake things up a bit, like, well, what would it look like if I was monetized? And so I have a goal, and it's the goal I record in my journal every day of how much I want to be making per month in YouTube, how I feel like that's going to reflect the value that I'm giving my viewers. What would that look like? What will I be doing? What will that Aaron be doing on a daily basis, etc. And so just to play around with it, I actually doubled that goal. I actually said, I want to be making X amount of money per month on this. I want to be reaching X amount of viewers, fill in the blank. And again, I see where this may not make sense, but it actually shifts you and shifted me into kind of a different identity. Like, oh, maybe a person that just wants to make, say, $1,000 a month just has to do these things. As someone who's nowhere near that, that's still an impressive amount to me. So again, this is not me saying that people should be trying to make 100,000 or anything. But what you're probably doing at $1,000 per month is going to look very different at 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. And so it got my brain thinking after the initial, like, oh, you've got to be joking. Cause I even do that to myself all the time. Was yeah, what would I be doing if I was making that much? What would that future Erin look like? What is she doing that I'm not doing now, but that I could? And just in my capacity right now, some of those things were I make quicker decisions. I get up and do this even though I don't want to. I go ahead and try to do one takes because I have found that editing is so much easier. That's not to say I don't have some false starts. There were definitely a couple with this one. And I may share those at some point just to make myself even more real to you. But what I meant is that, not waiting till it gets perfect, which is I have a whole series on that right now that because I kept finding that coming up for me. But doing a long form video without a lot of cuts, without a lot of edits goes so much quicker. And when you're trying to do this around a lot of other obligations, that is a game changer, as people like to say, as even I like to say. So if that's something that sounds interesting, and it wouldn't necessarily work with every goal, I get it. But if you're at a goal where you're like, hey, what it would look like if I want to run a 6 mile race? What might it look like to run a marathon? What would I be doing then? What is it going to look like if I want to lose 15 pounds? What about 30? What would you have to be doing then? Anything that's out there that's a big goal, try doubling your data or doubling your outcome and see what kind of shift that gives you. And again, I promise you it's going to be rejection at first by your brain for sure. But if you can get into allowing that a little bit, like, yes, I hear you. That doesn't make any sense right now. And also, what would we be doing differently? It's kind of fun to play with. And really, a lot of what this YouTube channel has to be for me is fun, or I'm not going to keep doing it. And it doesn't all feel fun right now. It feels scary. It feels risky, like it's taking up a lot of time. And yet, there is something in knowing when I get a comment from somebody that said, "Hey, I really like that," or "That was a great video." That feels great. I know I'm helping someone, doing something that I'm excited about, that I'm passionate about, and then I wanna share and think will help people. So, I know I've rambled on. I have a tendency when I don't make the notes in these videos, but I hope you're enjoying the challenge, and again, if this is helping you in any way with any kind of challenge you're having or you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you'll do so at the end of this video, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.